Welcome in, everybody. Come on in the room. Happy Monday. Come on in the room, everyone, and welcome to Sister to Sister Talk Power Moves. Super excited to have you all coming
Welcome
in
in, everybody.
tonight.
Come on in the room. Happy Monday.
Come on in the room. Come on in the room, y'all. I'm excited to have you in tonight. My name is Mone't Horton. I am the visionary and host of Sister to Sister Talk Power Moves. And of course, we are joined tonight with our super fantastic, amazing, and full of surprises co-host, Tiara Parker.
Hey, everybody. Happy Monday.
Yes, yes, yes. She probably said, "Wait a minute. She just throw that in there? It's something else." That's right. I keep you on the end of your seat. We are excited to have you all in tonight. Again, welcome in to Sister to Sister Talk Power Moves, where it is a flow, y'all, and not a show. We are excited tonight because we get to bring to you the male's perspective tonight with a phenomenal guest. He's a trailblazer. He's doing his thing. He's a father, an author. We're getting ready to share his bio, but before we jump in, I want to let you all know that you are totally in for a treat tonight. You want to do what we do over here, and that is click and share, because I know that there is something that you will be able to glean and take away. So even if you're not an author, even if you are not a storyteller, you love books, or you're just looking to make a power move in your life, tonight you're going to have some transformational nuggets, some information that if you allow it to go in and form, that action is the action, because that is what we're all about here at Sister to Sister Talk Power Move. So go ahead, click and share, get your pen, get your paper, and make sure that you take those copious notes, as they used to say in school, um, so that you'll be able to take some power move steps and actions and shifts and pivots in your life. I can't see y'all out there, but guess what? I know you're there. And I know that you're not here just by happenstance. You're here for a moment of transformation. Even every second that you listen in is a moment and an opportunity for your life to be changed for the good. And so we want to do what we do best, and that is maximize each moment. So, again, come on in, take a seat as we share the bio of our amazing special guest tonight. He is a father. And again, he does so much. So let me share. Our guest tonight is Mr. Corwin Melvin, the author of Just a Dad, a surviving youth sports um, and surviving youth sports, is a proud Baltimore native and a 21-year veteran of the United States Air Force. Drawing from his rich life experiences and unwavering determination, Corwin has dedicated his life to service, both to his country and his family. Currently, Corwin serves as a contract intelligence analyst and enterprise architect. All right, supporting the Missile Defense Agency. His expertise in national security and commitment to excellence define his professional career. Now, beyond his professional accomplishments, he is a devoted single father to three sons, a self proclaimed custody warrior. His personal journey as a father and advocate inspires his writing, offering readers heartfelt insights into the challenges and triumphs of parenting. Through Just a Dad, he shares a powerful and relatable story that underscores the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of love and dedication. Now, y'all, before we go ahead and give him a thunderous applause tonight, We're here to talk about a father's voice riding through the fire. And without further ado, welcome, Corwin Melvin.
Wow,
Welcome.
Welcome.
that was humbling. Thank you. Thanks
You
for
are
having me.
so welcome. You are so welcome. You know, we take the time to read the bio because it's important because I think sometimes we're just doing and we're being in, and we are excelling in different areas, but how many times do we really take the time to kind of sit back and say, wow, that's me,
I
and
agree.
celebrate yourself. So as you're coming in tonight, we celebrate you, we salute you for stepping up to the plate and sharing your story with the world. And just beyond that, you're of course impacting your family, but also again with the world. And so we say thank you. And again, welcome to Sister to Sister.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, we talked about a little bit that how as sister to sister, we flow. It's a flow, not a show. And when we say flow, we fearlessly level up, overcome, and win. And when I met you at a event, and y'all gotta
Oh,
see, listen.
what's up?
I had to definitely support you um with Just a Dad because I know that there are sometimes men um they don't get that support as you see, or that light, right, or that space to share their story. And so tonight as we were preparing, I said, wow, I have to reach out to Corwin and to have him come on to share your story. um we like to talk about here that story behind the glory
Right.
because it's so easy to see where you are now. Analyst, retired from the military, traveled. I've read some of your story as well. And but take some time wherever you want to start and kind of share with us some of the highlights of that story behind what we see
All right.
now.
Okay, so I think the foundation of my story starts growing up in the projects in Cherry Hill, in South Baltimore. That's kind of where it all started. I was raised by a single mom. Me and my brother, and my sister, raised by a single mom. And just going through that struggle of not having much. And seeing folks around you, not really make it out. The struggles that people were going through. Some folks were able to rise above it and get out of that environment, and others weren't able to do that. So a big part of it was my mother's strength and keeping me on the straight and narrow, and helping me to realize that my circumstances, that I can change my circumstances. I don't have to be in this situation or in this environment. It's all on me. Just that part of it is huge. And then going, as I got a little older, whatever, went to college, wasn't ready. Didn't last very long. So when I talk to moms and I talk to folks now, I say two things that you have to really teach your children: time management and self-discipline. You have to teach them to be disciplined in their efforts and how to manage their time. Because if you can't do those two things, you're going to struggle. And that's what Black boys struggle the most, and that's why we have the highest dropout rate in college, because we're immature, we're undisciplined, and we can't manage our time. So that was a struggle for me, but that's also led me to going into the Air Force, which changed my life. So being raised by a single mom, I talk to moms, and a lot of women get upset when I say, well, a woman can't raise a man, but there are things that a woman can't teach a man. So for me, the biggest thing in my life was going in the military and being around strong men, strong leaders, and strong fathers. Because not having that as an example growing up, you need that. And when you look around, like even in the city, when you look around now, you see all of these young, emotional young men who are out here wilding because nobody ever told them no. And they're out of control, and they're, because they didn't have somebody, grabbing them by the back of the neck when they needed it, or, knocking them on their rear end when they needed it. So I try to when I have these conversations, I try to make sure that folks understand it's important. So if dad's not in the picture, well, if dad wants to be in the picture, there's no reason why any mom would not allow that. If he's a good father and he wants to be in, then that should be encouraged. If he's not, then get your boys around strong men, whether they're in the sports or they're in anything else. Get them around strong male role models so that they can learn that other side of how to be this person, how to be a benefit to society, and not be a burden. So that's me going through college and joining the military. Went into the military, got married way too young. Um, that's a whole big story. It's a whole chapter in
Right.
my book. It's a whole chapter in my book. It's one of those things where I was young, having a good time in the military. I was stationed at home. I was stationed at Fort Meade, which is 25 minutes from where my mother lived. So I was having a great time. And then I met this young lady at a club and decided that, hey, I really like her. I got an assignment to Germany and I wanted to take her with me. So we got married. Not a good reason to marry anybody. Take your time to get to know people before you make that commitment. Because we got married and 3 months later that assignment got canceled, and now here we are married with no skills. No skills in just relationship skills or how to be a husband, how to be a wife. So there's the whole struggle around that. Do I need to take a break? You guys good?
No, you good.
Because I can talk.
You're good. Wait, just
Okay.
share that
Yeah.
story.
Okay. So there's that getting married early and that kind of stuff. So there's a struggle with that. Of course, money is always a struggle when you're young and you're married. So you're struggling with that and you're struggling with the relationship because you don't really know this person. So there's all of that goes in that. So I was married. I was married for 17 years. So we fought the good fight for a while. Had my 3 sons, and then towards the end, it was obvious that things weren't going to working and they weren't going to get better. So I made a decision to first petition for custody of my sons.
Mm.
Um, that's a whole that was the ultimate challenge because when society is telling you that there's no way that any judge will allow you to raise your kids, they're not going to take them away from the mom, this, that, and the other stuff. Well, I'm like, well, they're not taking them away from her. She's still here. I'm still here. So it shouldn't be looked at as somebody's being taken away from somebody else. We have an equal responsibility and an equal obligation to raise our children.
Mhm.
So my whole mindset was there's no reason why they shouldn't be with me.
Mm.
So I went through that whole process in Virginia. You're talking about social service investigations, guardian ad litem for the kids, and that whole process. And went to court. Went to court the first time, and I sit there for 45 minutes and just hear all these negative things about me that I've never heard before. So I hear all of these things, and then so I kind of just I sat there and I just listened. And then the judge asked me to come up and asked me if I had anything that I wanted to say. And I just said, well, I don't have anything negative to say about her. I'm not here to disparage her because I need her to help me raise my sons. I just want the opportunity. And the judge said, well, you're going to get the opportunity. We're gonna let them stay with you, and then we're gonna give her regular visitation, and that's what we're gonna do. So they've always been with me. They have never not been with me. So we went through that whole visitation thing for years. My youngest is now 24.
Wow.
So we made it all the way through that process. Got a couple college degrees. He's getting ready
Right.
to go to grad school in the fall. So they've done well. They're great kids. They're very respectful. They've done well. I think we both did a great job with them because when folks meet them out, they meet them. One, they already know who they are because they've always seen us together. But when like I tell my sons, when you meet somebody, you introduce yourself, you shake their hand, look them in the eye, and you give them both names. So because they're gonna remember you. Two of my sons are 6'10".
Mhm.
So they stand out when they walk in the room. I said, so people are gonna remember you. So you want to make that first impression a good impression.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I actually went through that process twice. So I retired from the military and did it again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And did it again. So from your story, and of course we shared that, and that's how you got that the custody warrior,
Right.
because you were resilient in that process with your sons.
Yes.
Um and you know, I like and I appreciate how you know, even as you shared when as you went through the process, you're in a space in the courtroom and you're, you know, hearing things that you might not have heard before, but you know, when you get the opportunity, it's like I just really want to have an opportunity to be present and fully
Absolutely.
present in my son's lives. And so um now then getting the opportunity to do so, share a little bit more about why that was even that more, you know, important, because I recall reading your book where you shared that, hey, you didn't have that
Exactly.
opportunity growing
Yes.
up.
Right. I didn't have. I've never met my father, so I was totally void of that whole experience. And there were things that if I had that person in my life growing up, I may have done things differently. So for me, it was never a thought that my sons would not be with me.
Mm,
For me, if they had been with her, they would see me every day because I live right up the street, down the
right.
street, around the corner. I would always be accessible,
Mm,
but even with that, I still think that it's important to be there as much as you can. Like even in my book, I talk to guys or whatever, and I talk on these different platforms, and I tell them, I said, even if you can't have full custody of your children, you can have more access to your children.
yeah.
You just have to have a plan. So most judges, even the ones that are kind of hard, this and the other, hard on men, most judges will listen to you if you have a plan.
Mm,
So you have to, and you can't go in there and you have no idea what your kids' grades are. You don't know what school they go to. You don't know any of their teachers.
yeah.
You don't know the coach or the team they're playing on. You have to be involved and engaged in your kids' lives. So that says a lot. Well, that's how it should be anyway.
Yeah.
But going into court, if you're telling the judge, "Hey, I want my kids," and you can't even share anything about your children, you don't know what they like, what they don't like, how is that going to come across? It's going to come across as hollow.
Yeah.
So if you want that, then you really have to be involved and engaged in your kids' life. Same thing with moms. I
Yeah.
tell moms all the time, if your ex, if you don't get along, at this point, it's not even about you anymore. So you got to take the emotions out of it. You have to want to do what's best for your children. And what's best for your children is to have access to both parents because they need both voices. They need that energy from both of you. So sometimes a lot of you just have to swallow your pride, understand that the relationship is over with, so you got to let that go and do what's best for your kids because, ultimately you are putting this person out into the world.
Mm,
This person is a reflection of you. So if you want that person to be a positive reflection of you and you don't want to have to worry about them every day, you don't want to have to worry about if they're gonna be locked up or doing this other crazy stuff, then you have to feed into them,
yeah.
that kind of positivity. So
That's so good. That's so good. As you were speaking, what I was thinking about is that, you know, your children is an opportunity for you to do better than, you
and
know,
what you
what
had.
you
Exactly.
did and what you
Yes.
did or what you experienced.
Yes.
And I haven't had, you know, children yet, but I know that you have to, like anything, you have to pour into, nurture,
Absolutely.
you know, what you put in is as good as what, you know,
What you
what
get
comes
out.
out. And
Yeah.
so cultivating and creating those environments where they can be nurtured and educated and get exposed to different things. And that's no matter what your financial status is,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
always
Yeah.
an opportunity to give exposure to positivity and things of that nature. So all of that is definitely important.
Right. And I say that all the time. I say, kids, of course, kids like things, but kids don't want
Yeah.
things. They want your
Yes.
presence. They
Yep.
want your availability,
Yep.
and there are so many things that you can do nowadays that don't cost a penny.
Yes.
So you can't even use that as an excuse that I don't have the money,
Yeah.
because there's so many things you can do. I mean, I'm gonna say how old I am, but I'm almost 60.
Mm.
And
Oh, you're not.
I'm always looking for things to do that don't cost me money, a bunch of
Yeah.
money, because those are the things you have the most fun doing, the things you enjoy, and the things you remember, because
Yeah.
those are the experiences. I'm all about experiences,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
so there's really no, if you really want that access and you really want to pour into your kids, it's available to you. You just have to want to do the work.
That part. And I think
Yeah.
that's where the disconnect lies for a lot of people because they don't want to do the work.
Right.
I think the lack of finances is an excuse that people use, but it's really not an excuse because the most valuable things, like you said, are completely priceless.
Yes.
The things
Yes.
that kids recall to you, the things that they talk to you about, the remember when conversations are not about gifts and toys that you bought them. It's
Not at all.
remember when we did this. It's remember when you took me here. It's not, or remember when we had that conversation. It's not about the things.
Right. And those conversations matter. Even the small, the car
Remember
rides. I
when
mean,
conversations are not
oh my
about
God.
gifts and toys that you bought them.
Not at
It's
all.
remember
Not at
when we
all.
did this.
Did we lose you?
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah. So the thing about, I mean, a big part of that is, so all my sons play sports. So you're talking about three kids, each one 3 years apart, three different age groups going in three different directions. So there's a lot of time in the car. So there's a lot of time for conversations. There's a lot of time for, getting in their ear and, getting on their back and telling them, hey, work harder, try harder. So there's a lot of opportunities for that. So there's times there are times that are valuable time that don't require anything. Just take advantage of the times that you do have. Try to maximize that and try to make it so that it's impactful for the kids. And it's not hard really. Just be available and talk. See, I got a big mouth, so I mean that's easy for me.
Yeah, communication is definitely the key. Um, so you've taken us through now your children, they are, like you said, you've seen them through the college, all of them at in their lives. How receptive have they been to this whole experience and, being right there with you, while of course their mom is still having that presence, like you said. How have they embraced this process?
They were young when we initially separated. My youngest was 4, so they were 4, 7, and 10.
Oh wow.
So the bulk of their lives, they have been with me. So that's it's just how it's always been almost. So they initially it was rough because there was a big change and transition early on, but they kind of grew into it. Like I said, they had access to her and they were busy. That they were always into stuff. I kept them busy, kept them active. So they just had a lot going on. They always had a lot going on. Even now, they're too busy for me now, but they've always had a lot going on. So that I think kids need to be engaged in something. Idle mind is a devil's playground. So that's when kids don't have things to do, then they look for things to do, and that's negative or destructive. So I just kept them busy. I tell parents all the time, if you kids, I mean, from the time they were like 4 and 5, they've been playing basketball or some kind of sport on a team. So get them into something, keep them busy. At least that way they have some way to put their energy. It teaches them life skills. It teaches them teamwork. It teaches them self-control. It teaches them all these other things that they benefit from, in sports and those kinds. And it doesn't necessarily have to be sports. It could be other things. It could be playing music, musician. It could be dance. It could be cheerleading. It could be any of the things that allow them to focus on something outside of you, mom, and school. It just gives them somewhere else to focus their energy, and it'll benefit them long term because those are life skills, even though it seems like it's something small early on. I can't hear you, man.
Um, I'm sorry. That engagement, can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Definitely plays a important role. Like you said, if you have that idle time, then you don't know anything can happen. But when you keep them engaged, those skills that you spoke of are instilled in them. It's being reinforced,
Right.
like you said, from home to school to all these
Right.
different spaces. When did you know it was time to share your story? What was that moment like? Okay, here we go.
Oh, a friend of mine, my best friend Dave, mentioned years ago. He said you should write a book. He said you have a story, and I didn't think a lot of it. It was kind of in the back of my mind. And then I met my now wife
Oh,
a couple years ago, and she said, I thought you mentioned you wanted to write a book. I said, yeah, I thought about it. She said, well, why not now? So I got started, and once I started, it was easy. I'm at a light with my phone out, voice to text. As soon as something came to my mind, I would save it into my phone. So once I mean, it just started flowing. So And then once you start, you start thinking of things that you hadn't thought about in a while. You start thinking of people in your life that you hadn't talked to or heard from in a while, and just situations like growing up in the neighborhood. I mean, so many things came out about growing up in my neighborhood and when I was young and those kinds of things that I just hadn't thought about in a while. So that book it was fairly easy. It was probably more therapy than it was anything.
Yep.
I didn't
Listen,
write it.
you just answered all my questions.
It was one of those things. It's like I didn't even I never even thought about like selling it. It was just one of those things, I just want to get this out. I just want to tell a story, get it out. And one day my sons will read it, and they'll learn some things about me. They'll learn some things about how I act, the way I act or whatever. They'll be like, oh, okay, this makes sense now. Even though I may have told them those exact things like over the years, so they'll learn some things. They'll learn some things about my background that they may be a little surprised at. But I mean, they're all adults now. So, we're always proud of the things that we've done in life. We all have made bad decisions. It's how you bounce back from those decisions that really matters and that speaks to your character. So
That is, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You finish.
No, I said so that's that's a part of the story. So you can't you can't say that I'm telling my story and it's all the good stuff. Because then that's disingenuous. So there's a lot of things that there's some things in it that I'm not necessarily proud of, but they're a part of what got me to where I am now. And I think I've grown a lot since I was since I was young and in the neighborhood. I'm a different person than I was even when I got married. The first time. So
yeah. And that's the thing. A friend of mine and we always talk about how it takes not only the good things, but the not so good things, the things we wish we could be like, hey, that's not a part. Delete. From the past or my journey, but it really, really takes all of the good, the bad, and the ugly, to get us where we are. And the beauty of it is that it's in your past. It was
absolutely. Right.
And
you just right.
Yeah.
As long as you grow and mature from it, it's those people that are like in my age group that are still living in the past, still acting like they're 20, this, that, and the other. That's when it's an issue, it's a problem, because those people aren't growing, they're not maturing, and one thing I always say, age and maturity are not the same.
They are not.
So you can't say, oh, you're this old, you should be acting this way. It just doesn't work that way. So you have to take people for who they are, and then make your decision based on that.
Right. You really do.
Yeah. And at this age, you kind of have to allow negative people in your life. My circle is very small. I got 2 friends. I know a lot of people, I got a big family, but my circle is very small. Because there's only a couple of people in your life that you can call at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, I need $200 right now. Or I need you to pick me up. Or I need this. There's only a couple of people that are going to answer their phone for you. So I know exactly who those people are. So that's it. So I try to keep my life simple. I did all that, I got divorced in 2007-ish. Got divorced in 2007. And of course, now I'm single with 3 kids.
Wow.
So that's a whole nother situation. So how do you date as a single parent with 3 kids? So now you get to see what a lot of women go through. What a lot of women have to deal with and managing their time. And for me, I knew I was so busy with doing what they needed to do. I just could not focus on a relationship. I knew that. So I tried to be honest. If I met somebody, I was honest with them. I said, hey, I'm very busy, so I may not have the time. You need to kind of build a relationship. So I'm telling you that up front. But of course you got the ones that say, oh, he's a single dad. This is great. I'll be okay with it, until they want to go out on a Tuesday, or they want to do something on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night, and I'm not available. And then, then you have to deal with all of that. So I made a decision early on that, I would let these guys get older before I really focused in on a relationship. So there was that whole thing. And then I got married 2 months ago. So.
Okay.
Yeah, finally found the one.
That's amazing.
Congratulations to you both.
Thank you. About that, be patient. Take your time. Date purposely. If you know what you want and you meet somebody and they're not on the same page, walk away. You can love them and leave them, if they're not the right person for you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, because ultimately it's gonna lead to heartache and money out your pocket and all these other things when you could have avoided that thing. So
Yeah.
stay single until you meet the right one.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's good. And so
It is.
there's the sacrifice of it.
Yes.
huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge sacrifice, but it's worth it. I was never, I never doubted. One, I never doubted my ability to take care of these guys, and I never wavered on wanting that responsibility. I had more fun than them. I mean, we were driving from here to Disney like every summer. I mean, we were just having a good time. So I miss all of that. I miss being a dad, a dad to young boys. I miss that whole thing. I really enjoyed it. I miss it. My sons, we're still really close, even though they're out doing, living their lives and doing their thing. I have a new grandson. Well, he'll be 2 this year. My oldest son has a 2-year-old. Yeah, but then they moved to Texas, so I'm not happy about that.
Oh,
But I get to zoom him in every couple of days. So he's great. So everybody's happy. I'm living a blessed life. I really can't complain. I got a telework job. I get to work from home. Oh my God.
you're just blessed on all sides here. Just sandwiched in. No.
Oh my gosh.
When you sacrifice, and I was reading that in your book, you like, look, I'm just blessed. I'm blessed to have, had a position, a role where I could take care of my boys
Yeah.
and all of this and not have to, have multiple part-time, jobs,
Right.
different
Yeah.
things. And so I mean that speaks to that sacrifice, and it's not always, but it is for a period of time. And for those who are watching and viewing tonight, or those who may be tuning into the replay, we want to encourage you that anything that you put your mind to, right, it's worth it. And it
Absolutely.
Yes.
will it will involve, to some degree, a
Right.
sacrifice.
Yes.
You might not be in a custody
Mm-hmm.
situation, but whatever your situation is, that be willing to make that short-term sacrifice for
Absolutely.
long-term
Long-term
gain,
gain.
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's worth it. I mean, it pays off in the end. So now, at this point, like I said, they're all grown, you know. So I write my book, write my first book. So now I have this writing bug. Ooh, excuse me.
I can
So
see it
now I
all
have
in
this
you.
writing bug.
I can see it all.
As soon as I finished the first one, I started writing my second book,
Yeah.
which is Surviving Youth Sports.
Look at you.
So it's ready to go now. So that one's I'm waiting for 40 copies of that because I have a couple events that I'm going to be doing this in here shortly. I've also co-authored a book with a friend of mine named Ricky Goings.
Okay.
I helped him with his book. So this one, he's selling this one like hotcakes. He's a basketball influencer in DC, young guy. So he's doing big things in DC. And then now I'm not done. I just got the proof copy of my most recent client, Rob Nickens. He's a DC basketball coaching legend. He's a winningest coach in DCIA history. He called me and said, "Hey, can you help me write my book?" So we're done. Got the proof copy through Amazon yesterday. So I'm gonna deliver that to him tomorrow. So I get to watch him unbox it. So that's
Yes.
always exciting. So he's hyped and excited. So I'm having a good time with it. It's actually so I started my little business, launched the author, so that I could help new authors write their first book. So I've been able to help these guys, and I hope to help a lot more folks. Because I enjoyed it. I think it's great. I think even if um, selling books is your thing, you want to sell a lot of books. Not every book sells a lot. So you have to have a message that people want to hear that resonates with folks if you want to sell a lot. But everybody has a story, um, and just getting it out in print can both benefit you just emotionally, spiritually, emotionally. And for me, my kids will have that, my grandkids will have that. So generations will be able to read and they'll get to understand who I was. So there's benefits beyond selling books.
Absolutely. So you transitioned us right on in because I could already hear like, wait a minute, he has all of these other, wait a minute, his book did other. So now you see it. It's from your head to your hands, right?
Yes.
You get to feel, touch, smell, like this is my book. And now you have this extra, motivation, inspiration to continue on your journey, but now
Yes.
you're helping others.
Yes. And it's amazing. It's amazing. With Rick, when I brought him his book and he opened it up, I thought he was gonna cry.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
was so
really?
excited because because a lot of times folks don't believe they can do it.
Yeah,
So they were like, well, how am I going to write a book? How am I going to write a book?
yeah,
So that's why I said I can help. I'm a great coach. These dudes are texting me 2 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
notes, this, that, and the other. I said I'm available, I'm accessible, and if you need help, I'm here to motivate you because we all hit a block. And we all just need that one little nudge to keep us going, and I'm perfect for that. I got nothing but mouth and nothing but energy.
Right.
So I've been having a good time with it. So these guys are finishing up. I think I just had a conversation with my next client the other day. So she'll be getting started here in the next week or so. So I'm just loving life. I'm in a great place. I got a new wife. I got a new book out, and I got another client's book is coming out. So all is good. I cannot complain.
Listen, another stream helping other people birth out, their vision. This is powerful.
yeah.
Yes.
We do the same thing, and it's just so beautiful that a process that now you've gone through yourself, you can help other people.
Absolutely.
So tell us how long. I'm always curious to know how long did it take you to write your book from. Of course, it was already in you. You had the flow,
Right.
right? But how long did it take from start to finish?
Probably I started last March
Mhm.
and I was done in December.
Okay,
So I
okay,
was done and ready to send it to print in December.
okay.
So, but that
Awesome.
helped with that though. That helped me work out the kinks.
Yeah,
So now I know how to get it into Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and all these other places. I
yeah,
know how to. I'm doing my own editing. I'm doing all of the whole process myself. So I know how to do all these things. I got so much better now than I was when you bought my first book. Oh
yeah,
yeah, oh yeah. It's light years. I'm light years ahead of that.
yeah,
Because just working my way through the process. I mean, Rick, his book is 75 pages more than mine, and we
mhm,
finished his book in 3 months.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and but same thing with Coach. His is about 200 pages, but we finished his in less than 3 months.
yeah.
So now that I got the process down, I can communicate that to my clients, so they get it. They're like, okay, so every couple of days I expect to see something from you.
Right,
Where whatever it is, any kind of notes, anything you have to include, pictures, anything. I expect something in every couple of days. If not, I'm gonna hit your phone.
yeah.
So once you get in a flow and a rhythm, then it just goes, it just flows.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I see, definitely see you in your zone because as you talk about it, it's like a whole nother
Hyped.
energy. Yes. Um, but that's what it's about to now. And we talk about power moves, making those power moves,
Right.
turning your pain into a position of power. And you have lived through being able to persevere and being able to be resilient. Your book talks about it's just a dad sharing the lessons that shaped my life as a single father. But these have now, you're still birthing, you're
Yeah.
still helping others in the process. And I saw that you have lessons learned, right? At
Yes.
after each chapter. Can we talk about what are for the audience? What are some of the major lessons learned, whether in your book or
Oh,
just period,
okay.
that you want to make sure that people, when we talk about making a power move in your life, what are like maybe five?
Okay. I may have five. So
How many do you have? Yeah.
okay. Don't allow where you come from to define where you go or where you end up. Because where I came from, like I said, as many people have made it out. probably more didn't, so because you're brought up in the projects or you don't have a whole lot, doesn't necessarily mean that has to define who you are. You can change your circumstances. You can get the right education, you can get these right things, get the right people around you, and you can bloom, you can blossom out of that. So I think folks can't get mired in how woe is me and how bad things are right now, and just take those things, take those negatives, and build and try to turn those things into a positive. I think that was for me, that was huge. Not allowing my circumstances to define me. So that's one. So I'm gonna be all over the place. Okay, so two, date purposely. Don't waste people's time. If you know that that woman wants something that you don't want, leave her alone. Don't waste her time. Save the same thing the other way. If a guy loves you and you don't want to be with him, let him go. Let that woman find him. So that's two. What else? Be there for your children. Answer the phone when they call. Um, if even if you don't have, if they want something or need something from you and you can't provide it, you can provide the information. You can provide other ways to get those resources. Just be a conduit for your children. You never stop raising them. So they're not 20 something years old. They still call me, and I take the call if I'm available. I take the call every time, and I always will because they're an extension of me. So that's a part of that. So I think that's three. Um, use one thing I think people don't do. There are so many available resources for people, especially around Baltimore, in and around Baltimore. So many people need emotional and mental health support. So many people out here making decisions, reckless decisions, because they don't have the right kind of guidance or mentorship. There are so many resources for mental health resources in the city, and these other resources for folks who need help. Um, Even same thing with substance abuse. There's so many resources for folks who have issues, that take advantage of those resources. If you don't know where to find those resources, then talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody at church, talk to somebody at school, talk to somebody in your circle, talk to folks outside of your circle. I talk to everybody. I talk to people all the time. I don't have a problem introducing myself to folks that I don't know. So when you're in these different environments and you introduce yourself to people, you never know who's going to be a gift to you. Who's going to be that person that says that one thing that changes your life. So speak to everybody. Have those conversations with folks you don't know. It's easy to talk to people you know. We all do that. But when you're in these, yeah, when you're in these different environments, talk to folks you don't know, because you never know who the other person is. It could be the CEO of some company that's just looking for somebody just like you. You never know. So just make yourself available to that. One of my chapters in my book, I talk about a racial discrimination issue I had supporting the government out here at Fort Meade. A big part of being a responsible adult is how you deal with difficult people. you know, Whether you work for them, work with them, work around them, you have to deal with them in some business or whatever. You have to be able to deal with difficult people without introducing too much emotion and all those other things. So that's a skill set. That's a skill set that we all need, because we're all going to come across somebody that we want to punch in the mouth. It's going to happen. So how do you make your way through that? Keep your professionalism, keep your level of maturity, keep your self-respect, your dignity, and and still not allow somebody to like step all over you. There's a way to do that. So I think that's probably a very big lesson, is how to deal with difficult people. So if you don't know, then that's probably an area you need to explore and to work on. So
Yeah. Emotional intelligence, conflict resolution,
absolutely, all of those things. And
professionalism.
yeah, because I mean, nowadays we're as much as we want to keep it real, and all these other things, we still have to be able to survive in this environment. So you still have to feed your family. So you can't just go out around cussing folks out all the time, this, that, and the other. You have to be able to function in society. So you have to learn those skills.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. So look, you've taken us from I think from youth to relationships to fatherhood, to life skills training, to coaching, launch your first book. Let's go,
Yes.
let's get it. I mean, it's so many things. And I'm reading a book now. I've had it, but you know how you just pick up another book,
Yeah.
called The One Thing.
Hmm.
And even in my coaching, I share that it's in the one, like when we get still, and even for me, right, being a first partaker, but when you focus on that one thing, because how many of us try to multitask on so many things at one time? But if you really get locked in to focus on that one thing is the key that will holds the
Those
key that
other
will unlock all these other things.
things. Absolutely.
And as you're talking, I'm listening to how your one thing that you got laser focused in, and that's being a great father,
Mhm.
right? Has
Yes.
literally, you sacrificed for it, but now that one thing is now unlocking the key, unlocking so many other things in you that you never even knew that was there, right? Or it was kind of just lying dormant.
Right. Absolutely.
Would you say that was true?
Oh
Yeah.
wow, yes, that's absolutely true. That's a big part of the reason why I wrote the book. That's a big part of the reason why I've done a lot of the things that I have done. That's the reason why I put a big part of my life on hold to make sure that those guys are where they needed to be, to get those guys set up so that they can, when I'm not here anymore, that will still continue to be productive in society. So everything rolls around into being a dad and raising these guys. And all of those experiences. Like I said, I miss that whole part of it because it was such a big part of me.
Mhm.
So now I get to see, like I see my grandson, and I get to see my sons out there living their lives and being productive and stuff. So I truly am blessed. I'm thankful for just all of the things that have everything happens for a reason. When
Yeah.
I when I got that letter from UMBC and they said, yeah, maybe you should try something else besides school right now. I went right to the recruiting office, didn't go home, went right to the recruiting office and signed up for the Air Force. Signed up because there's no way I could go back home.
Yeah.
So 3 months later I was gone to boot camp.
Wow.
Yeah,
You said
yeah,
something,
yeah,
something about
yeah.
that.
I knew that I had to grow up.
Mhm.
It was obvious that I hadn't. College didn't help because all I did there was party, and not go to class. So,
Yeah. Needed
so
something more, taking us back to how you started,
right,
something more structured.
absolutely
It's
discipline. Yes,
there you found a community
exactly.
of other men and counterparts who help you to, get those skills that you needed to become the man who you are today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because, like I said, if you don't have those early on, then you have to, as it's like I said with moms, if you don't have that in place for your sons, then you have to find that. You have to get that. You have to get them in situations where there is a strong man that they can lean on. Somebody that can guide them, somebody that can tell them that they're doing wrong. Somebody that can bring them back to the middle when they kind of stray a little bit. So you have to have those people. You can't say, hey, I don't need no man, this, that, and the other for my sons. You need a man to help raise a son. As
Yeah.
strong as women can be. And I mean, I was raised by a strong Black woman, so I praise women all the time.
Mhm.
But with this, yeah, you want,
You
you
can't
want,
negate the presence of,
absolutely not. You
yeah.
want to raise the kind of man that you would want to date. So if you're not proud of the man you're raising, then that's on you.
Mhm.
That's on you. So there's an opportunity to do something about that. You want a man that's respectful, knows how to treat women, has some self-control, not super sensitive. You want all of those things. You want him to be all of those things. So
Mhm.
where's he going to get it from?
Mhm.
So you have to make sure he has an opportunity to get those things from somebody. So,
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, it seems like you are you're speaking, you're going out, spreading the word. If someone is interested in connecting with you for any of the things that you're doing, how can they do
oh,
it? Where can they?
um, You can there's multiple ways to reach me. Okay, so you can reach me at my personal email. You have it, corwin.melvin@hotmail.com. You can reach me there. You can reach me at Launch the Author. That's at launchtheauthor.com.
Mhm.
My book website where I host my books is at corwinmelvin.com. So they're all around my various of my name. I
Okay.
have if you can see that, you can.
Okay. And you could also drop it in the link
Yeah,
now.
I'll drop it in the link, and that has all of my email addresses. But if you email me at my name, corwin.melvin@hotmail.com, I'll get back to you the soonest. And I'm available. I have a spot for consultations for folks who want to write a book. We can just talk through, what you think you want to do, your goals for your book and those kinds of things. Then I can let you know if I can help you. And if I can't, I'll let you know that too. I'm not here to get rich. I'm just
Yeah.
here because I enjoy it. It's a passion, and I just want to help folks, realize the dream of writing their first book.
Yeah, that is so awesome. What are your IG? I know you said it's variations of your name, but it's
Yeah,
very
I'm Corwin Melvin on Instagram. I'm at Corwin Melvin. I'm at Corwin Melvin on Facebook. What am I at? I'm on TikTok.
go ahead.
Corwin for what is it? I think I'm Corwin Melvin on TikTok also. So it's
Okay,
my
let me
name
plug
is
it in.
everywhere. Yeah, at Corwin Melvin everywhere because that makes it easy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, when I was writing in Corwin, I was like, wait a minute, is Corwin Melvin or is it Melvin I was
Yeah,
trying to get it. Then I said, let me
yeah,
go back to the book. Got it right. Um,
yeah.
wow.
21 years in the military, I got used to people calling me by my last name first.
Uh-huh.
But Corwin is my first name.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Wow, you have literally, I mean, I'm just um your story has definitely it's inspiring. Um just how you have sacrificed and given for your family, made that sacrifice, and now seeing how so much other fruit is coming out of that is just an awesome process and a testament of the seeds that you've sown. And so I thank you so much for coming over here and sharing the male's perspective tonight
Yes.
on Sister to Sister. Lady T, like what awesome man of the year over here.
Yes. I think I definitely appreciate your perspective, especially on co-parenting, and the importance of putting children first. I think that gets lost so often. I think so often adults get lost in their emotions and with their feeling that they forget that they have little people who have big emotions too,
Mm,
who are affected by how we respond to our emotions, right? So
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you just coming to share just the perspective and the importance of being an active parent, regardless of what the custodial situation
Yes.
or agreement looks like, because our kids need us.
Absolutely.
They need us to be present. They need us to be active. And that's how we show that we care, because they need us to show up.
And that's where else do your kids learn how to date? Where
yeah.
else do they
Yeah.
learn how to choose a partner?
Yeah.
They learn that from you,
Yeah.
so they learn that from the decisions you make, and if you is bad mouthing the other one and you talking this, that, and the other, they're gonna think that's okay.
Yes.
So it's good. They're gonna think it's okay for them to do it. And then they're gonna look at relationships jaded, and they're gonna have all of this negativity going into any relationship they go into later on.
Yes.
So kids are sponges. They may not say nothing, but they pay attention to everything, they hear everything.
Oh yeah.
They sure do.
So
They
you want
sure
to you
do.
want to you want to feed positive things into them, and you want to understand that this person is a reflection of you. So if you dating scrubs, they're gonna date scrubs.
Right.
So if you dating these people, they're gonna do the same thing. So it's just about making choices and presenting the right role model for your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so that's yeah, that's good. Um and so it comes definitely full circle.
absolutely,
And so we
absolutely.
have to
And you see it all the time.
you do, especially oh my goodness, today. So they'll be sitting there real quiet. As soon as they do something, you're like, where'd they get that from? You're like, oh, I just. And so they will quickly remind you, and even for those who may be watching, and you might not be a father or a mother, a parent, you might be a godparent, but you have a leadership role in a child's life,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Or you play a role in their life. It all counts. Or they say it takes a village.
Yeah, absolutely.
So any part that you have, picking them up from school, a helping hand here, dropping some lunch off, whatever the role is, don't minimize it. But no, it's a seed into this greater harvest. But
Absolutely.
if we don't, if the seed is not on good ground, right? But we're sowing into the next generation, if we're not sowing good seeds, then we can't expect that harvest.
Right.
And so I'm just really empowered by this conversation tonight, and look forward to hearing all the other wonderful things, Corwin, that you are doing. So keep us posted. We'll
Awesome.
definitely have to follow up. I'll check you out because I did not know you had launched the author. So that's awesome. Opportunities to collaborate and to connect and to share more,
Yes.
and definitely even to have you come and speak. So I'm excited about that. Are you going out to, have you connected with like youth groups or?
Ah, I actually am. I haven't connected with any youth groups, but I'm in
Okay.
Baltimore. I'm in Baltimore. I got to read it because I'm getting old. Um, I'm participating in a game changer. There's an Elevating Men's Wellness Summit down at Roberta's house in Baltimore on the
Okay.
23rd of August. So I'll be down there with those guys. I'll be doing a Mahogany Book Festival down at the National Harbor on the 2nd.
Yeah.
And Black Wall Street in Baltimore, 10th annual Black Wall Street Expo in Baltimore on the 27th of September. So I got a pretty busy next couple of months.
Exactly. That's where we connected. So
Yes.
back full circle. So I'm excited. And so I'll connect with you, because if you have some information you want to share out to us, then we can put it out newsletter as well.
Perfect. That would be
Um,
great.
but thank you so much for coming out and sharing with us tonight.
Yes.
Listen, everybody, listen to the replay, take those nuggets away. But it is our hope, it is our prayer, and it is our intent that you take the information and you go and make a power move
Yes.
in your own life. Whatever you need, it's not outside of you, because a lot of times we look outside of you, and there's a lot of things out there. But how about taking the time to look inside? Because there's some treasure in you. There's some things that's lying dormant. And listen, Corwin he just shared how even in this season in his life, he's still uncovering and unleashing
Yes.
all this wonderful treasure. So
Absolutely.
what are you going to do? What is the, as we close tonight, what is the next power move that you're going to make? We thank you for hanging out with us here at Sister to Sister Talk Power Moves, where we flow. And we thank you for sharing this time with us. Meet us next week. Don't just meet us here, but meet us here. We thank you. Take care. Take charge, and God bless you. Have a great night, all.
Thank you.
Nice.
All right.